Am I obsessed with sex? Are you obsessed with sex? Are Indians obsessed with sex in general? Hello everyone. This video is the result of the questions I received as a response to my previous videos on fetishes. Well, as far as the opening questions are concerned, I wouldn't want to answer the first one. And I certainly don't know the answer to the second one either. But for the third, I do have an answer. Yes, Indians are way more obsessed with sex as compared to our Western counterparts. And the short reason is, we are simply not having it enough. But this isn't satisfactory, right? So let me elaborate a little. Well, there are multiple cues from which we can understand that Indians are far more obsessed with sex. I will list them one by one. But I want to clarify. By India, I am not talking about India as a nation state in the present form. By Indians, I mean people of the whole Indian subcontinent. And I am also including the Middle Eastern countries in the list of sex-obsessed nations, which are even more sex-obsessed than us, according to me. But let's forget about them for a while, as we are gonna discuss Indians and Indians alone in this video. Anyway, you must be awaiting the indications. Well, here are they. Number 1. Sex is the most important and perhaps the only yardstick, the only criteria through which we measure an individual's character. Yes, instead of taking it as a part of life, we give too much importance to the sexual behavior of a person. A person may be super kind, helpful, and magnanimous, honest and law-abiding, but if he or she is even a bit wayward when it comes to fulfilling one's sexual needs, he or she is declared as a characterless person, womanizer, or a slut in the case of a woman. In countries like India, you can't freely assert yourself as a sexual being. As against this, a highly corrupt person, both money-wise and politically, an individual who hurts others or take bribes is okay, as long as he or she is faithful to his partner. So you see, the point to be noticed is, in India, it is okay to take bribes and harass others, but not okay to have consensual sex with multiple adult partners. This tells us about a deep obsession with sex and sexual purity. We don't do it much, however, we spend a lot of time thinking about it. Number 2. We are too much concerned about what a woman is wearing. Here is a thumb rule. The more women are expected to cover themselves, the more obsessed the society and the culture is with sex. I am not saying women should go around naked just to prove a point, but a society that is deeply obsessed with what a woman is wearing is also deeply obsessed with sex. Indeed, there are two Indias. Many women wear revealing clothes these days in our nation. But do people take it as something normal? It is a question we must ask ourselves. I shouldn't be digressing much, but the topic calls for that. I have noted that the majority of the people in the Indian subcontinent and the Middle Eastern countries have this wrong notion that white women are scantily dressed in general. Some jerks even view them as sluts. But as far as I have noted, white women are the most decently dressed women in the world. In fact, Indian women dwelling in the cities are wearing far more revealing clothes these days. But it doesn't mean people take it as normal. However, in the West it is. This is the main difference. In the West, women are free to wear anything, yet they don't. In India, they are not. That is precisely the reason why some of the rebel kinds purposely wear these revealing clothes to draw eyes or to show middle fingers to the expectations of the male-dominated society. While in the West, there are hardly a few idiots who do moral policing and issue guidelines when it comes to what a woman should be wearing. In the present day Indian subcontinent, you will find these good for nothing fellows everywhere. You have these in-laws you can't piss. You have these old aunties and neighbors whom you don't want to give an opportunity to label you with some offensive term. Point is, sex is always at the back of our minds. No, we aren't thinking about this act. However, it is a subtle emotion, like an undercurrent, below the subconscious mind, not manifested in its entirety. Yes, I am not exaggerating, dear ladies. Whenever someone is asking you to cover yourself, he or she is thinking about sex. Whenever someone has these do's and don'ts and these guidelines to what a woman can wear or what she cannot, it is a case of obsession with sex. I would like to repeat it. Obsession not with the actual act per se, but an undercurrent, completely invisible to the naive and undiscerning eyes. A hidden and suppressed emotion, hidden by multiple layers of SR's sophistication. To sum up, the more covered up women are supposed to be, the more obsessed their society is with sex. I am talking about India here. Forget the Middle East. They are on a whole different level when it comes to obsession with sexual purity and sex. I must also add that I am talking about India of the present times. In ancient India, things were quite different. Women could wear everything, as it can be concluded by seeing the idols in the South Indian temples. Hell, you will see women wearing bermudas and even bikinis sort of thing. Yes, so open-minded we were back those days. This transformation from what we were to what we are now, and how and why we got here to this stage, is a topic for a separate video. It cannot be covered here. Anyway, without much ado, I must get to the third and the most important point. Number 3. We don't do it, but think about it and talk about it a lot, like I am doing it right now. Yes, according to many studies and many surveys, Indians are amongst the list of people that have the least amount of sexual encounters annually. There are many reasons for that. For example, lack of privacy in a joint family, having kids quite soon after marriage, sex still a taboo, a forbidden fruit, people who assert that sexual needs are frowned upon, especially women, too much importance to studies and career in our prime years. The list is quite long. As a result, instead of involving ourselves in the act, we think and ponder a lot about it. Our sexual needs are suppressed, and anything that is forcibly suppressed haunts our mind all the time. So much so that for some, this thought is at the back of the mind all the time. Consider the example of Bollywood films. I say Bollywood is far more obsessed with sex than Hollywood. Remember the 80s and the 90s, where a hero's sister was raped by a villain in almost all the movies, and all he wanted was revenge. Forget that. Have you noticed how long they drag these love games in our movies? The sexual tension between the hero and the heroine remains throughout the film. There is no release. They long for union, but the love affair is never consummated. As against this, in a Hollywood movie, sex and romance is a passing affair and a part of life. There will be one big kiss or one big sex scene. That's it. The main story and the main plot soon takes over. Cinema is indeed the reflection of the society. The all-pervasive sexual tension in our desi movies is just a reflection of the all-pervasive sexual tension in an individual. Sexual tension with no relief. Thankfully, things are changing in the Bollywood too. We too are now focusing more on the plot and less on the love games and the chase, which is indeed a reflection of the change that is gradually coming into our society. Yes, we are getting there, but slowly. To sum up, the only way we can become less obsessed with sex is by having it more and by thinking and talking about it less. So I think I should stop talking. On this note, I will end this video. Do let me know how you perceive my opinions, whether you agree with them or not. The comment section is all yours. Thanks for watching. Bye.